man with the number 1 on the bike, Riley Dexter. We're normally used to seeing with the 860. Proudly displaying that number 1. He's had a faultless season so far, has to be said, and looks like the marshal just looking to clear the grid. I think everybody appears to be ready. Flag goes up, and junior SM90 race number 1 gets underway. Oh, and there's trouble on the grid. 2 riders stalling the bikes. Everyone gets through okay, but Riley Dexter with that great getaway second on the grid, number 35, the machine of Zach Weston, I believe. Trying to get that bike restarted. Somebody further down the grid as well, number 111, I think that was on the bike, but they've 2 of the riders out safely, 1 rider stuck on the grid. I'm wondering perhaps these cold temperatures may be making things a bit difficult with the riders losing the engines, but they are all underway. Back at the front though, the new champion Riley Dexter is looking in great form, trying to break away at the front, so trouble at the start there for some of his rivals. And Riley Dexter now, you're new to this of course, how this guy has been one to look out for throughout the season and leading away like the champion.
Indeed, yes. I say this is even I know this one is Riley's had a fantastic season indeed, hasn't he? As we're watching all the riders now seem to be underway in this one.
Yeah, they've all got away safe. Looks like Ty Butler is emerging in second place with Zach Weston losing the engine on the grid. Good job. Well, we'll go look through the window now, see where he is. I think he's in about 6th place now, so good comeback for Zach Weston, who had a bad start. Good riding, of course, by the chasing riders not to get caught up in that little melee at the start, but didn't bother Riley Dexter, of course. So let's have a look and we'll see how Zach Weston gets along as he tries to make his way back towards the front. Pretty much in last place. Ty Butler, though, is not letting Riley Dexter get too far away at the moment. The gap, I would estimate, as being about 1.5 to 2 seconds, so that could be a close one as the race develops. Now let's have a look at it's Ruby Booth by the looks of things on the tail of number 8, the machine of Ty Collymore. So 2 great riders there. Looks like it's going to be a close battle.
Yeah, enticing stuff for the remainder of this race. I promise I'm still endeavouring to get us some timing here, Chris, honest, as they go round.
It's hard at work on this one at the moment. We don't need the timing screen to tell you who's leading this one though. Riley Dexter from Ty Butler in second. This little battle here though between Ty Collymore and, oh, there we go, just a little bit further behind there, Ruby Booth. It's getting close in that, not too far ahead between each other. Riley Dexter, meanwhile, going up towards the final corner, is starting to close up on some of the tail enders. There's 1 or 2 of the novice riders out there. And Dexter making light work as he makes his way through towards the final corner there. We see Ruby Booth closing up on Collymore as they go towards the boot, but Collymore's got the line covered and holds on to that position.
We should mention, of course, these are some of the youngest riders we will see today, so perhaps a slightly more spread of experience and skill out there. So some of the riders out there may be getting to grips with this circuit for the first time. Which may be why we're seeing traffic coming into play so early on in proceedings.
Very much so. I think it's with the pit bikes, of course. Most of the riders are either experienced motorcyclists or good clubman riders. In this junior SM90 race, like you say, Howard, there's a real mixture of speed. We've got the likes of Ty Butler and the race leader, Riley Dexter, who are really charging away at the front. Many of these guys towards the back of the field, of course, they are novices. We see the high-vis novice best that some of the riders ride to denote that they are less experienced. And of course for those guys the race is just as important. They're looking to learn how to get to grips with the track, and it's good to see so many newcomers turning up actually. This class has really grown throughout the season. Here we see though the number 1 of Riley Dexter, your race leader, going through to Chris. Oh, some smoke from the back of the machine though. Let's hope that's nothing serious. It doesn't seem to be affecting Dexter at the moment as he goes up towards Zulu. And Riley Dexter looking strong at the front. Ty Butler dropping behind a bit now in second position, but all about the new champion Riley Dexter, who has been on top form this year. Last time I saw him, of course, was at Rowder. There's still a few puffs of smoke in the back of that bike, though. Just seen out of my window, actually, the machine smoking a bit there. Hopefully, I don't think that's, at the moment, doesn't seem to be anything too concerning for the race leader Riley Dexter as he makes his way over the line to complete another lap. There's one of the novice riders in front of him. And Dexter just takes his time, finds the gap and goes through up towards Christmas Corner. And still that looks like Ruby Boo there Ty Collymore in the mix as well. Mason Greasy, Nathan Ellisward, Warwick Brady all in there, Harley McCabe. So unfortunately I've got the issue with the timing screen, so we can't actually, they've all got a bit mixed up now, so I can't actually tell you how Zach Weston's getting on. He was right at the back of the field at the start, he lost the engine, but he has been fighting through.
Absolutely, as they come around to complete another lap of the race.
I think that's aimed towards young Riley, who's been absolutely faultless this year.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and very justified pride, I have to say, as well, given the season that Riley has had.
So they make their way towards this midfield battle through Zulu. Great to see the riders, they really are enjoying themselves. Even the guys at the back of the field is trying to get the name of this ride at the back in the novice bib coming up towards the final corner at the moment. A little bit further ahead of these guys battling in the midfield. Could be Chase Carter, who's got the blue hoodie apparently. We'll just have a look as we make their way through.
Seen some support coming in for Carter today, debuting in the series today.
Well, he's just gone through past the finish line, not quite on the pace of the front runners, has to be said, but he's out there, he's enjoying himself and getting around the track.
Yeah, and as we've been saying, that's what it's all about, particularly at this level. This is where it can all begin for these riders.
So here we go as your race leader. Usually, of course, number 860 on the bike, but no need to explain what that number 1's there for. Riley Dexter making his way round towards Christmas corner, getting that second corner absolutely perfect. He's got his own race now. He's starting to pull away now from Ty Butler in second place. So Dexter now with the luxury of being able to ride his own race. So he's not having to worry about Christmas corner approaching riders. And just I think that might actually be Chase there. Actually just lapped him, I think, in Zulu.
Yeah. This ride reminiscent of what we saw Chloe Jones doing earlier on in the day. Another person who's won a championship and is demonstrating exactly why that is the case.
Good intelligent riding has to be said, though. We were talking about the difference in speed with some of these riders in the SM90. There's a few novice riders out there who'll be a lot slower than Riley, of course, but he's taking his time. He's not rushing. He knows he doesn't have to rush things through. So, of course, he doesn't want to go barging into people. He's just taking his time, finding the gaps and keeping that pace going.
Absolutely, and that can't be underestimated in any form of racing. You know, you've got a responsibility as the leader of getting through the traffic in as clean and efficient a way as possible. And that means respecting the riders who maybe aren't yet on that kind of pace. So, definitely an important skill not to be underestimated. That Riley's demonstrating just by doing that and keeping up the pace whilst doing it. So definitely a vital skill to, again, I can't say it's a skill I've ever had to develop much, but for the riders who are out front in this series, vital skill for them to be able to do.
Of course, an important thing is that it's not all about the guys in the midfield. They're having their own battles in that midfield position, so their race is just as important as the leader. And they won't want to get involved in those. There we see another bit of a midfield battle that Dexter just nips his way through. So it's looking good for him so far. Yeah, seems to be.
So as we can see here, Riley just working his way around through the traffic. Unfortunately, because we haven't got time, I'm not 100% certain on how many more laps we have left of this one.
The last lap board's out.
Okay, I've just heard the last lap board's out, so that answered my question. Ooh. Hey, as I trip over some wires in the box as well. And Riley comes through. Riley Dexter comes through to take the checkered flag at the end of race 1 for the junior SM90s. An impressive drive there from Riley, underlining exactly why he is the champion this year. Yeah, shout out to all of those riders today who are trying this out for the first time.
I mean, we've been there, haven't we, in the past? We've both raced before, but
yes.
It's always that time of the day for the first time, and it's a bit intimidating, isn't it, to say the least?
Absolutely, and no less for the fact that, you know, just look at, you can see in the back of the shot, you've been able to see it all day, how big this paddock is, how much effort and time is going into this sport, and to turn up, you know, often you'll be turning up with a small operation, or smaller certainly than some of the front runners maybe. You know, but again, what's great about it, I was saying it earlier to Matt, is that there's parity. There's always someone for you to race.
Definitely, very much so. And like I say, there's these guys at the back. Today they'll just be looking to get through the races, stay out of trouble, and then hopefully they like it and carry on. And I think there's problems on the grid at the moment, so I don't know what's...
We should say there's more comments than I can actually put on the screen right now, but support coming in for Riley Dexter from Roxanne Carlsworth, Billy Carter getting support from Laurie Mansfield, good luck George Bartle. I'll assume those are the same Georges as they're underway. We have got riders with a few problems on the grid there.
I think that was 0-8 with a slow start, but they all get away, don't they? It's I'll speak to Matt about this. We've had this in the winter series before. When the temperatures drop, sometimes the bikes can be a bit sluggish getting off the grid. But Riley Dexter this time doesn't take the lead.
No, indeed not.
So he's having a look. He's trying to fight back, but trying to confirm who that is at the front. Oh, he went a bit wide on the apex, but makes it stick. I'm not sure. That's number 35, possibly. No, he's in third, I think. It's so. Here they come back up towards us. 35, your race leader at the early stages. So that's the machine.
That's Zach Weston.
Zach Weston.
So good start from Weston there. Apologies, we were reduced to playing a game of spot the number plate in the box here. But Weston it is then who leads them across the line, followed closely by Riley Dexter, our champion.
And Riley Dexter having a real look on the inside. He's going to line him up into Christmas corner. Now, can he make this move stick on the outside? Weston holds the inside but drifts wide, and very well worked move there by Riley Dexter coming into Christmas corner. Went wide, of course, on the second corner. We had that one weighed up, I think, even when he crossed the line, what he's going to do.
I think that was very sensible riding from Zach Weston, actually, in the sense that he didn't try anything crazy. It wasn't win it or bin it situation for him. He just held his line and stuck to his guns and very much riding his own race there. So fair play to Zach there.
They are very clever riders, these young guys. I mean, like I say about Zach Weston, he drifted wide on halfway up the straight, but he kind of knew not to do anything stupid. They knew that the Dexter was coming and not to shut the door. He could have tried shutting the door, but it wouldn't have paid off. They'd have both been on the floor, wouldn't they? Yeah. So
and the other thing we should say is that that Dexter there using all of the runoff on turn 2, as you see again there. As far as I know, that is absolutely fine within the series. The stewards aren't going to be having a look for that. So as far as I'm aware, that is absolutely fair game to use that. And now Ty Butler is pressuring Zach Weston for second place as well.
It always surprises me on that second corner, that runoff, how the bikes make it work. So I've been in karting before, and when you go off on there in the kart, it just seems to lose too much drive for me. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe it's because I'm in the Sodi karts and they're not.
It can vary. It can vary. Different karts, sometimes it can be beneficial to use some of it. What I would say is it's never beneficial to use all of it in a kart, because after a while that runoff will start to warp you off, effectively. It will start to pull you off.
And even there we see Riley Dexter, he stays well clear of that rumble strip.
Yeah, exactly. So it is very, as you chop and change between these different things, and we've got riders here who are riding in different classes as well. And as we say, the temperatures are dropping, so all these sorts of variables are out there, and these riders have to respond to it very well. As we watch Zach Weston still holding on here.
Ty Butler starting to put the pressure on him.
Yeah, indeed. And look at the gap, Chris, as well, that these top three have got to fourth place. Fourth place there is Harley McCabe.
I think that's little Billy Carter there on the inside. He's letting them all go for. He's enjoying himself, isn't he?
Yeah, and doing the right thing. It has to be said. If you there's no point trying to be the hero on the first time. Get the experience, get the speed up. That's exactly what this is all about. So very good, sensible driving there.
One thing I like to say about this,
riding even. Goodness me! Is this a change? No, is this Riley Dexter dealing with traffic now at the front?
Traffic now, but again, he's just taking his time. He's not rushing through. He knows that there's time to get through, to find a gap. No, I like this with, I think this Billy Carter, I think. We'll confirm that in a minute. But no, it's not. That's number 99, I believe. 99, a bit further down. 8th place.
Warwick Brady in, yes, indeed. So Warwick having a good race here.
I was looking actually.
28 of Mason Greasley, and indeed there's been a change there. So Warwick Brady has just got past Mason for 7th position on that lap.
I was looking at Billy going round before number 25 at the back of the field. One thing I like about him, he is holding his own line. He's letting the faster riders go around him, so that's good for a young rider. It is intimidating to be out there against much faster riders. So I like how he was just looking after himself. He wasn't weaving across the track or getting scared by the other riders. He's just letting them go past him and just enjoying his own race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about building that skill, building that confidence, and it's true of any form of racing, but particularly for this category where some of the riders are so young. That's what it's all about. Don't take risks. Just learn to respect the laws of physics, if nothing else. As
sorry to interrupt there, but looking at Mason Greasy, number 28. Oh no,
lovely, lovely. Well, if
cheeky little move there.
I'm sure there's a much more apt bike reference, but if I may reference a Hakkinen moment there, using a back marker there, that was a beautiful move.
That was lovely. That
right there.
Poor old Warwick Brady pushed wide by the back marker, and he saw this steel in his eyes there.
Thank you, Laurie. We're on the lookout now for
he
for
was
Billy.
lapped a minute ago by Riley Dexter, who's coming into the final corner.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
Right. But to Warwick Brady, I saw the steel in his eye. He wasn't very happy about losing that position. He
wouldn't be.
Back.
That's not the way anyone would want to lose it. I'm going to go on. Keep an eye out for Billy to see him coming around.
He's still on there
because we've had some great support coming in for Billy.
So Riley Dexter holding on to the lead now, leading by quite some margin now. It was 6.1 seconds last time out. Zach Weston.
As I try and trip up my colleague in the box.
Oh, that's my own fault. Don't worry. It's yeah. So we're looking to see what the battle's like now between Zach Weston and Ty Butler. I think Weston is starting to pull away slightly.
Yeah, I've just seen Billy coming across the line.
There he goes,
riding a sensible line. You know what we were talking about, not doing what you need to do, getting the experience, getting the confidence, whilst not being unnecessarily detrimental to the line of competitors coming by.
You should see him actually in a few moments, because he is being closed on again by Riley Dexter. There he is.
There he is.
Dexter nips through, picking his way. Dexter looking way down the circuit. Good riding. There he is. He's plodding round. He's enjoying himself, isn't he? There he goes. He's at the back of the field, of course, number 25, but he's having a good time, isn't he? And
can I something I really relate to just then? You can see the focus on his face as he's coming up the hill. I can so relate to that. When you're out in a new series for the first time and maybe doing something, doing this for the first time, I can perfectly remember my first outdoor races in go-karting and just
oops.
just
trying to filter their way
through. The focus. You get home at the end of the day, and go, why am I so tired? It's partially the physical exertion, but it is also that you have been so focused on every single aspect of it, looking ahead. And this is the important thing, you know, for riders this young, they don't ride on the road or drive on the road. They're not looking up.
That's it, yeah.
That skill of looking ahead and down the road is one that they're learning here, rather than, you know, when they're 16 or 17, maybe, and beginning to learn to go out on roads.
You look at Riley Dexter, the comparison, of course, to a rider who's faster and more experienced. He's looking way down the track, a lot further down than Billy's at the moment. He's anticipating any problems before they even arise. We see that a lot of course, in karting as well, in motocross. We see that the riders have to look way down the track. And I was at Western Beach Race a few weeks ago, and the top riders, there's hundreds of riders in that race, and they're getting stuck on the sand dunes. But the top guys, they are looking way down the track. They're anticipating problems before they even arise. And when the worst does happen, they just skip on past, where less experienced riders are getting stuck. So that's where we see the top riders really anticipating things. And Riley Dexter, who's got slower riders to deal with at the moment, he's anticipating, looking for the gaps, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's a skill that obviously to a certain extent there'll be some innate sort of natural abilities as it were as riders come into the sport, but there is a huge aspect of that just comes with time, comes with experience, you know. And you can see here the confidence with how Riley is riding, and that's the target for the others out there. But it's something that comes with time, and you just get used to looking ahead. You can draw as many parallels as you can. Chess players have to look ahead. You know, all these sorts of things. The strategic play and positioning yourself well with good racecraft is all about that looking ahead. But Riley Dexter right now will soon be looking ahead to the checkered flag here, because he is, after another impressive ride, coming around the final corner, will take the checkered flag. There he is, stands to attention. Very good.
A little bit cocky over the line there, and who can blame him?
Well, there
was
you
a
go.
Champions ride, you have to say. Ty Butler, 12 seconds down in second place. Should be coming through any moment now. Just about holding off Zach Weston in third.
Yep, impressed by that.
Good start to the race, of course, for Zach Weston. He gave it a go, trying to hold off the machine of Riley Dexter, but wasn't to be. And Ty Butler didn't give up, held on to that third place. This looks like Harley McCabe will come through in fourth. They had a quiet race, but crossing the line in fourth position, very strong, get some good championship points. We haven't seen much of Ty Collymore this race, but there he is, who has got Ruby Boo. Those two have been inseparable for both of the races, really. Looks like Collymore is going to hold on. He looks pleased with that, doesn't he? Very pleased, as he came under a lot of pressure for Ruby Boo for the entire race.
We did see Billy as well. Then I'm sure that was the 25, but he didn't have his high vis anymore, so I'm not sure what happened to it.
I think there's two out there on number 25.
Oh, is there two on 25s? That makes more sense. Okay, fair enough.
So
fair enough. That might be my mistake, but yeah, well done to all of those riders. All we should say, all made it to the end. All cleanly dealt with it.